Gave my yoga mat a wash. Was waiting for it to dry. Lit a candle, a lavender candle this morning, and then we're gonna do some yoga with Adrian. So I have these beautiful flowers that have seen a little bit better days. Some of them are definitely done, like this bad boy. So I thought I would show you the before and then I'll show you the after, because I consider myself kind of a pro at making bouquets of flowers last for weeks and weeks. So I'll show you the after. I also wanted to show you these, which Thomas bought for me yesterday. He came home with respite and they picked these up. How much of this bouquet I was able to save, and you know, yeah, there's quite a lot that's gone. It's basically the roses, because I find roses last the shortest amount of time, but I'm so thrilled. I was literally just about to chuck this whole thing in the trash, and now I have another bouquet. And what I also like to do sometimes, if I didn't have this, what I might do is divide this, and then I would have multiple bouquets. So sometimes I'll put it like on my desk in the office, or on my bedside table, or at the kitchen sink, but I'm feeling pretty good about this morning. I know it's always the same breakfast, but here it is. That's Thomas. Hello. Can you put your bowl in the sink? High five. Okay, time to put your shoes on. It's time for school. Today's an exciting day because they are going to watch the salmon release. It's like so Canadian. And I am gonna meet him on his field trip. So that's exciting. Just wouldn't be a day if I wasn't nuking the coffee, would it? Speaking of which, I keep forgetting to tell you, or wanting to tell you, but I have tried the like bagged coffee from IGA, but from McDonald's. It's really good. Thought I would just mention that. If you also like your coffee like me. I've been shaking, I love it when you go crazy. Am I too old to like Shawn Mendes? Don't care. Oh, that's bright. Okay. So I got a question that I'm gonna answer in today's video and kind of show you as well. How do you put your mental health first and not feeling guilty while doing it? This can be for moms, dads, anyone who feels they have a responsibility to other family members or work or whatever. My goodness, this is such a good topic. So that's why I wanted to show you this morning, like doing yoga, taking 5 seconds to light a candle, my avocado toast, which I know I joke about because I've had that same breakfast now for like 2 years, but I just love it. Anytime I think about having anything else, I don't want it. And I've even like perfected the bread. I love the Cape Seed bread from Cobb's. So it's little things like that. So I'm gonna show you little things that I do to help my mental health today throughout the vlog, and then we'll really chat about it later on for sure. But this is such an important question, especially the guilt aspect, because being a mom or being a woman, for sure, that is something that I deal with, that I think most women deal with. If not now, they have at some point in their life. And even someone recently, I was surprised, who is a grandma, was talking to me about mom guilt. And I was like, still in your 70s, you're still feeling that mom guilt? Like, ugh, it's relentless. So that's what the gist of today's vlog is going to be, which I'm really excited. Finishes coffee, considers going into Starbucks to get another one. Currently sitting in the mall parking lot working. Before I go into the bank, because I have 20 minutes before my brow appointment, and I parked and it's sunny, and you know what? We like that vitamin D, even if it's from the car, even if it's while I'm working. I'll take it. field trip. Okay, when did I last see you? Oh, I was going in to get my brows done. Got said brows done. Tanya's a genius, we love her. Came home, filmed the video that's gonna go up tonight. If you missed it, it would have been the last video that went up, and it was about social media and like how to be online in a positive way. I haven't quite figured out what I'm gonna call it yet, but you'll already know because it'll be up if you haven't seen it. Then I went and met Thomas's class at a field trip. They were doing like a salmon spawning, salmon release field trip. So I was there for about an hour, came home starving. So I've made myself, it doesn't look very good. This is pasta. It just looks like parm. Let me show you a little bit. I didn't plate it nicely. It's protein pasta with homemade peanut sauce, scallions, vegan parm, corn, broccoli, and hemp hearts. So I'm gonna have that for lunch while I just get today's video up, and then I'm gonna go to the radio station. So just a quick hello, I haven't forgotten about you. BRB. Love this song. Love Maren Morris. Any of you going to see her at Rock and River? Let me know. I just went into Eris and picked up a refill of the Aveda. You can see it. Oh yeah, the Shampure. It's a dry shampoo I've been using. I bought the last one in November, and I'm just replacing it now. That's so impressive to me. Not usually, well, I need to use it today. You could tell I ran out, but I'm not usually a powder dry shampoo kind of gal. I've been in aerosol for years, but I would probably go through an aerosol bottle of dry shampoo in like 2 to 3 weeks. What is that, 6 months? Like, this stuff's impressive. I know I've talked about it before, but I thought I would mention it again because I just picked it up. Now I am heading back from the radio station to an autism appointment for Thomas. His therapist comes to the house every Thursday. Is this too windy? I don't know if I've ever vlogged with the windows open. Anyways, that's where I'm headed now. Don't worry, I'm still gonna answer that question. But it's a busy one today. I look like a sweaty mess because I am. I went to spin after Thomas's autism appointment and then came home. My mom had made dinner. Amazing. And now I've just put Thomas to bed. It's just gone 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna go have a bath. An Epsom salt lush bath with a glass of wine. That's what I'm gonna do. And then we'll chat after. The next morning, and I thought I would wrap up this vlog by answering the question. Last night after my bath, I just like snuggled into bed and basically went to sleep. I'm reading Harry Potter right now. This is still the first book and it's May, and my goal is to read the whole series this year, so we'll see how that goes. But this was the question that I got. How do you put your mental health first and not feel guilty while doing it? This could be for mothers, fathers, or anyone who feels they have a responsibility to other family members, spouse, an aging parent, work, whatever. This is something that I could talk about ad nauseum because I have been there and I can totally relate. If you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. But I am a widow, and I have been a widow for almost 2 years now, which is just bananas to say. My husband took his life in June of 2017, and the years leading up to that, his mental health really depleted and became basically like a third wheel in our marriage and in our family. I did everything I could to help him, support him. Then it got to a point where I felt like his life was literally in my hands. Like, I stopped trying to put anything on his plate. I tried to be like multiple steps ahead of him at all times, walk on eggshells. Like, he would ask me if something was wrong and I would always say no. Like, I just really tried to give him this cushion of a life to help him as he worked really hard on his mental health. We were also raising our son Thomas, who is going to be 8 this month, and he has special needs. So there was just like a lot going on in our family. And Thomas, from the day he was born, we knew that something was up, because he was diagnosed as being deaf in the hospital, and then 3 years later on the autism spectrum. So for years now, there's been a lot going on. And if it was, you know, taking care of Thomas, and we just hit the 5-year anniversary of his cochlear implant surgery, or if it was trying to be there as much as I could for Jeremy, plus work, plus starting my business. I did a morning radio show for years, and then started my own business and was able to quit that show so that I could be home with our family and try and be like more supportive for Jeremy and take stuff off of his plate. So for a long time, for years, my mental health wasn't even on my radar at all. It was Thomas and it was Jeremy, and then it was just like survival mode, like fight or flight basically. And I don't regret any of that, because I just was surviving and trying to keep my husband alive and keep my son safe and keep our like house going. But then when Jeremy took his life, it took a lot of therapy and a lot of time, and I still get emotional thinking about it. Like, I thought it was partly my fault, that I didn't try hard enough, that I wasn't able to protect him, that I wasn't able to do more, be better, save him, you know, create even more of a bubble. And I get emotional because, I mean, it's only been 2 years, and it's such a horrific thing to feel that weight on your shoulders and to feel that responsibility. Like, for a long time after Jer died, when anyone else would get upset, I would feel like panic that it was my fault and that I had created so much hurt and so much pain for so many people, like hundreds of people who were affected by Jer's death. And thanks to some EMDR therapy, I now know that that is not true. But it's still, to watch your husband, your spouse, your best friend, your loved one go through such horrific things and not be able to save them or protect them from it, it's long lasting. And, you know, I'm still grieving and I'm still working my way through it, obviously. But going back to my mental health, as you can tell, that was never like even, I never even thought about it, honestly. Or I would think about it, it would be fleeting. I would be like, well, it's probably not good that I cry every single day in the car, in the shower, cry myself to sleep. But I just felt like there was nothing I could do. And then when Jeremy took his life, I really was so devastated to feel how I had neglected myself and how I had neglected my own mental health. Like, I literally would sit here on the floor, do yoga, as you saw me do yesterday morning, as I just did this morning, and I would just cry on my yoga mat and like hug myself, apologizing that I had basically abandoned myself, I felt. And I know now that that is not the way to go. And moving forward, I have really made my own mental health and my own peace and joy and just self a real priority. You know, for years I have preached that metaphor of you can't put the oxygen mask on your baby if you don't put it on yourself, as they say in the airplane. But now that I'm truly living that, I am so much happier and healthier and secure, and so is Thomas. I have started to really make my own mental health and just my health in general a priority. And Thomas hasn't suffered. In fact, he is thriving. Like, the milestones that he's hit, the gains that he's made in the last 2 years keeps like blowing his team away and me away. We're like trying to set goals and expectations, and we can't set them fast enough for him to hit them. So that to me is really interesting. It's not like, oh, now Mare's taking care of herself, so her son is suffering. It's like Mare's taking care of herself and her son is thriving, which is really interesting to me. And I also wanted to show you things yesterday and in this vlog, ways in which I take care of my mental health that honestly are so simple. I think part of the thing is that it can be so overwhelming to be like self-care on the internet and like, I gotta do all these things and I gotta be all these things, and it's so overwhelming that you don't even want to start. So you just like sit on your phone and until you have to fall asleep basically at night. But I wanted to show you that it's super simple. As me, as a single parent, as a business owner, as a widow, raising a special needs child, if I can do things to take care of myself, so can you. So you saw things like, well, you didn't see this, but like I meditate every morning. You saw me having a healthy breakfast, doing yoga. Last night I went to spin. I really find peace and happiness in simple things like a bouquet of flowers or a good book. It doesn't have to be like a huge to-do. What I have found is self-care and taking care of my mental health is just small things consistently every day that make me feel good. So a simple stretch on my yoga mat in the morning. I'm not doing a high intensity yoga. I'm doing like 20 to 30 minutes when I can. Or the simple act of making that avocado toast, which makes me super happy, or a delicious cup of coffee. Meditation, I think, has been the single most helpful thing for me in my mental health because it has really taught me how to be present. So things I would never have noticed before, like, this is gonna sound so cheesy and so hippie, but like the flowers budding, or a beautiful sunny day, or a nice cloud formation, or someone's really cute outfit, or I'm just like grateful for Thomas laughing today. Being present has been so incredibly profound and like life shifting for me in my self-worth, in my self-care, in my health, in the vibe in our home. Quite quickly after Jeremy passed away, people will come over and be like, whoa, it's so peaceful here. It's so calm here. And that was an active thing that I did. Like, I really wanted to just zen out our home. A lot of low lighting, a lot of muted colors, candles, as you've probably seen in vlogs. And when it comes to the guilt aspect of it, to me, I have seen both sides. So not taking care of myself and trying to save Jeremy and take care of Thomas and constantly being in this state of like panic and stress and anxiety, and still my worst nightmare happened. It's not up to you to save someone. It's not up to me to save someone. You could only save yourself. And for me, saving myself is these daily, consistent baby steps of small things that are important to me. Setting boundaries, being protective of my heart, being protective of my time, saying no to things, saying yes to things. Just taking a deep breath. And I no longer feel guilty because to me, there is no alternative. There's no pride in like playing the victim or putting everyone else first and being a martyr, but then you're suffering. That there's absolutely like no validity in that. And that's why I show taking care of myself. I show hard days, I show good days, and share joy with you and pain with you, because I want you to see that there is just no reason that you have to constantly be suffering. I was suffering for so many years and still my worst nightmare happened. So why not like realize that life is so short and enjoy it. Take time, find gratitude, find happiness in the smallest of things. And the guilt is something that you just have to constantly face and say, no thank you, keep moving. Like, no thank you, not today. Like, no, like you could even name the guilt or like visualize the guilt leaving, because you deserve to be happy, you deserve to be peaceful, you deserve to have joy and love and calm in your life, and only you can do that. There's no reason to be a martyr and to be suffering and to feel like you can't take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, you need to be your best self in order to be able to give to others. You know how there's that saying, like, you can't give from an empty cup. You're of no use to anybody if you aren't at your like optimal running self. You're not the only one who feels that guilt. You're not the only one who feels like overwhelmed, and not the only one who feels like you can't get enough done in a day. But what it is important to you is to take ownership of that and to look at it and see, like, what can I do to change this? Whether it's saying no to more things, taking stuff off your plate. Sometimes, like, I say no to opportunities that I wish I didn't have to, but I know that it's just gonna stress me out and make me even more tired. And I also think it's really important to surround yourself with people who aren't going to add to that guilt. Like, people who aren't going to judge you for saying no to something, or judge you for not making, you know, a 3-course meal when people come over, and instead just ordering pizza, because it's more important to spend time together than it is to like stress yourself out cooking. So be super aware of with whom you spend your time and how those people are talking to you. And maybe you just need to say, like, hey, this is what's up. Being a little bit more communicative. Like Brene Brown says, unclear is unkind, clear is kind. Clearly, I could talk about this forever. I'm just gonna end it there because this is a very long video, but it's something that I'm super passionate about, and I'm so appreciative of this question. To me, it's vital to take care of your mental health, and it is vital to do what's best for you. That's why we say you do you. That's why we have the tattoo. That's why it's a mantra of the marathon. You do you, what's good for you, and without guilt and without apology, because your mental health is just as important as your physical health and your social health and your family. And if you're with people who don't value your mental health, that might be something to examine and consider and talk about. Anyway, this is a long video. I appreciate you. If you've stuck with me this long, comment below and let me know that you made it to the end. Lace up, subscribe, become a marathoner. Life's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And I will see you in the next one. Let's just get rid of that guilt, shall we? Ugh, I wish that was something that we could just eliminate entirely. But we work on it every day. And if you're feeling guilty for taking care of yourself, join the Marathoner Facebook group, because we're all about self-care and we're all about getting rid of that guilt, and it's a really safe space. Okay, that's it. That's a lot of rambling. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.